Hey, what's up? Welcome to The Real Sigma. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so what is the Omega male? Now, we know a lot about the Alpha, the Beta, and we're just now beginning to learn and hear more about the Sigma male archetype. But we never really hear anything about the Delta, Gamma, and the Omega, and this is because they sit at the lower half of the social hierarchy. And so today we're going to dive deep into the Omega male archetype and get a better idea of who this guy really is. Now, more than likely, you probably know an Omega or have an Omega in your life in some form or fashion. The Omega male is that lovable goofball. He's the big kid at heart that does not want to grow up. And he wishes he could go back to childhood where everything was easy and he has great memories as a kid. And he misses those days because he didn't have any adult responsibilities and he could just play with his neighborhood friends all day. So adjusting to adulthood has not been very easy for him. And after high school, he realizes that being a functioning adult in society is nothing like he imagined. And it's like in the movie Step Brothers, which I hope and believe everyone has already seen that movie. If you haven't, go watch it as soon as you finish watching this video. But anyway, in the movie Step Brothers, you have two Omega characters. You have Dale and Brennan. And both of them were 40-year-old adults that never really grew up. They were still living in their parents' house. And they were like 12-year-old kids living inside of a grown man's body. Because they were still doing the same things that they did as little kids, even in their behavior. And they were still very immature. And although the Omega is viewed as silly or kind of like a court jester to people, he is actually very intelligent and aware of what is going on. He's definitely not a dummy. So he hears and notices what is going on around him. And when people are laughing when he does something funny, he knows the difference when people are laughing with him or laughing at him. Now, the Omega doesn't care what people think or what societal rules are, kind of like the Sigma in that way, but people's opinions will affect the Omega's confidence and make him self-conscious. So the Omega sits at the bottom of the social hierarchy, and this is because the social hierarchy is made up of adults that function in society. And the Omega is still childlike in many ways, especially in the way he thinks. So of course, the most childlike adults are going to be at the bottom of the social hierarchy pyramid, especially when competing with mature adults. And to be honest, the Omega is actually a really honest and sweet guy. And women do view him as amusing and charming, but women are not attracted to him sexually. They just view him as a nice guy and as a friend and kind of like a big brother. The Omega will have unconventional hobbies like reading comic books or playing video games. You know, things that kids like to do because they are still a big kid at heart. They still enjoy the things they did as kids, and this is how they like to spend the majority of their time. And the Omega does not pursue women or money, although he does desire these things and wants them in his life. He would love to have a woman. He would love to have money. But he simply does not pursue them at all. And the Omega is not very ambitious and likes to do unproductive things that bring him joy, like playing video games or watching TV. Omegas hate trying new things, and they hate breaking habits or routines. They do not like to leave their comfort zone where it is safe and easy. And many people do view the Omega as odd or strange, and that's fine with the Omega. He doesn't really care about that. And Omegas do actually have a lot of potential locked up within them because they are intelligent. And if you remember in that same movie, Step Brothers, Dale and Brennan, they got kicked out of the house. And they were forced to get their own apartments. And they were forced to get jobs and become adults. And yes, it was very rough for them in the beginning because they're not used to paying bills. They're not used to cleaning. They're not used to buying things needed for the home. But as they got past the initial starting phase, which is always the most difficult phase, especially for an Omega, eventually they were able to find a groove and rhythm in their adult life. And Omegas have the ability to find this groove and rhythm if they are determined to do so. But it requires breaking bad habits and routines, which is very difficult for Omegas. Because like I said earlier, they hate trying new things and breaking habits. And also, they don't really like difficult things. So when things get difficult, they're quick to give up. But in the movie, when they were actually able to get past that initial startup phase where it's difficult, they became very functioning adults in society. And if you remember, Brennan, he was put in charge of the mother freaking Catalina wine mixer, which was a huge responsibility for the company that he was working at. And the main thing to take away from that is the Omega had the ability to take on huge responsibilities and be in charge of big things. So it just kind of shows the potential of an Omega. And the other Omega character, Dale, he worked for a catering company, and I believe he was actually in some form of management at that catering company. And look, I know this is fictional and it's just a movie, but the character types in the movie are real. The characters are based on real people. It shows two Omegas and how they behave and interact in society. And it shows that Omegas do have tons of potential, but they just need to grow up and be able to push through difficult and uncomfortable situations. And so one of the main weaknesses that really prevents an Omega from living a fulfilling life is they do not do well when met with any type of adversity. So they're going to be quick to give up because adversity is uncomfortable and it can seem very daunting. So, like I said, they're going to give up quickly and go back to being comfortable instead of rising to the challenge. But if an Omega can gain the ability to overcome adversity, man, they can eventually build a life for themselves that they never dreamed was possible. And this is not easy for the Omega archetype because they live inside their comfort zone and don't naturally challenge themselves. But if they can learn to face challenges and not run away from them, yes, they can eventually have a wife and a family and live a fulfilling life. But this will require growing up in many ways. This doesn't mean they have to give up all the things they like and enjoy, no. But they must and will need to become responsible and not run away from difficult situations. They will need to be on top of daily tasks, simple things like grooming and just cleaning their home or their room. But when you're a kid, you don't think about these things. But as an adult, this is just simply real life. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments section if you are an Omega or you know one. And please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. I will continue to put out more Sigma content and things that relate to the social hierarchy. Thanks for checking out The Real Sigma. Take care and keep working on yourself and master your emotions.